Hey, 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 hey. Hey guys, Telex here again. Sorry for the long break. We had a bit of, I guess, a lull between last week. My friend Malt Muser has been traveling, and he's finally back on the East Coast. He had to go out to the West Coast for a while, and but everything's been going okay. Some of you are probably saying, well, Telex, that doesn't look like Auchentoshan. Unfortunately, when we first were talking about what show we were going to do, I thought we agreed to do an Auchentoshan 12 and a 21. I'm sorry, an Auchentoshan American Oak in a 21, but I think he was kind of iffy about it because he didn't have the 21 with him. We haven't been able to swap that particular sample yet, but and that's okay. So we've switched over to the Ledaig 10 and the Ledaig 18, both very humbly given by Malt, and I really appreciate it. I thankfully have had the 18 before, so that's why I have an empty bottle here. So I thought, well, but might as well get it out, let the kids see what it looks like, and bask in its glory. Some of you might be familiar with Ledaig. I know it says Ledaig, but it's pronounced Ledaig in Scottish Gaelic. And the actual distillery is Tobermory, and they're known for doing non-peated offerings, but they do have a heavily peated side, kind of reminiscent if you think about Springbank versus the Longrow series. They do have Hazelburn also, which is their non-peated. Springbank is like medium, and then the Longrow is the heavy. With Tobermory and Ledaig, you just got two choices. You've got either not peated at all or heavily peated with Ledaig. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference. But I'll tell you what, one thing I forgot about, and I just learned again for another time, and it's funny, I'll remember it for a while, then I'll forget. But the owners of this, the ownership is the same group. They're called Burn Stewart, also known as Distel, I believe is how you pronounce it. They also run Bunnahaven, which you guys are probably familiar with, as well as Deanston, so that's like a three-way prong trifecta, four if you think of splitting the Tobermory and Ledaig, but they have a really, really well done portfolio, I'd say. I'm impressed by not just one or two, but all four of these types of offerings, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. Peter brought the Auchentoshan the Valenk 2011 cast strength Toshin. Not bad. That sounds really good, and I'm sorry if you got that along. Yeah, and Andrew has the three wood. Man, I'm really sorry, guys, about the snafu with the last minute change. I told him, I was like, well, we've already posted the information out there, but I was like, well, we can always do the Auchentoshan show a different time. And I apologize about the snafu there, but hopefully you guys have a little bit left after this where you can come back and join us for the Auchentoshan show anyway. So let me go ahead and get Malt his invite before I forget. And sorry to get in your all's face. So let me copy the old deal here and get it toward him. It's been a long week already, and very, very thirsty. Very much looking forward to this show. I tell you what, it couldn't come quick enough. It's been just back and forth with life in general, and I'm glad it's time for a big break. Well, at least for tonight until tomorrow, right? Work's been good, but it's just all the extra stuff that's been piling up with, and then most of it's because of this darn pandemic. You know how it goes. Uh-oh. Yo, kids just got here from the malt show. Tamika, good to see you. And no problem, gives me time to pick up the 12. We're going to be doing the American Oak and the 21, but I have picked up the 12 before. I do like it. Do I like it more than the 3 wood? That's a tough one, man, because I mean both are what I would consider sweet drams. They are on the lighter side, of course, being triple distilled and all that. But I like the what Akantoshan does to an extent. The 3-wood is probably my more favorite because it's got a little more depth, a little more complexity than the straight up 12, because I think of the casks that are used. But is it a better whiskey though? That's kind of, I don't know if I would say that, but my subjective taste likes it better. I will say that. If you are into more sweet, spicy, oaky whiskey, you're going to like the 3-wood a little more. 12 is good. It's just a little more on the sweeter side. Vanillas, your toffees, things like that. So that's something to consider. Yeah, work stuff's been piling up lately, man. It's crazy. Speaking of piling up, he's piling up the smoke.
Telex, how's my video feed coming into you, brother?
This looks great, man.
Am I blurry to you?
No, you look great. You look actually probably clearer than usual.
I was having a hell of a time, man. I just did my happy hour, and like, as you can see, a little new setup here, new digs, new place. But unfortunately, I was coming in super blurry, so I'm hoping that that's not the case for our folks on YouTube who are going to be watching. So I got some work to do apparently, because it looks crystal clear through StreamYard, but it apparently not necessarily through. I got some work to do apparently, because it looks not through the through Facebook, but hopefully it's looking okay.
I'm surprised that they wouldn't see the same thing.
The video's great.
Yeah, I bet you it was just maybe I mean, were you doing anything like with your phone or any services while you were streaming earlier?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was a little upset about it, but that's okay. It looks like we're in good shape now. How are you, my friend? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been. I was telling the guys, sorry about the snafu and the delay, but yeah, you were on travel, and I had another little thing I had to take care of last week, so I wasn't able to do a show last week. But I'm very excited to get back in the saddle, because this today itself has been a long day.
Feel you, man. Let me just go off video for just a sec, my friend.
Sure.
I'll be right back. I just want to fix something real quick.
No problem. I know how it goes. I'll bring you back when you come back to the deal. I'm looking forward to this, because I've been lucky enough to have the Ledaig 10 and the 18 before, and as well as some Tobermory's with my friend Tosh. He's from Tibet originally, lives down in Virginia, and we get to hang out ever so often. It's been a while since, because of the pandemic, I haven't talked to him in a while, but hopefully we can touch base and get some more whiskey sharing going on. But he was the one that got me to try, I think, a 21 when I was at a DC Expo. So looking forward to getting my hands on one of those. Welcome back. I do not hear your audio is gone. Let me see. Oh, something might have happened and your video went crazy. So if you did something, I think let me see. Can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. You're muted for some reason.
Am I blurry again?
You got blurry after whatever you did and came back, but now I can hear you.
One more second, man.
No, it's okay. It's better to get these things like fixed so you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's for sure. Is that like Ledaig 10 a box wood? Yeah, this is actual real wood. I got a little bit of I won't say damage, but I had a leak above here where the drywall is, and some of it got in my box, unfortunately, and turned it a little bit white on the top. But other than that, it's pretty good shape, I have to say. Looks like you're back and you look a lot better.
All right, good. Yeah, apologies for that, y'all. I don't know.
No, that's okay. What was the what did you do to fix it? I'm just curious.
I was just adjusting the lighting. I think the problem is, I don't know. I'm in a different place now. So like, I think the problem is that the lighting that I had set up just wasn't quite where it needed to be. So it was kind of a mess. So my apologies for that, y'all. y'all been dealing with that for a minute here. So let's get into it, buddy.
You nailed it because now your lighting's perfect. You're not blurry at all. So you're right about the. I'm surprised lighting would affect it that much, but good call on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. StreamYard, like I've been on Zoom calls all day and did not have this problem. And then, you open it up and StreamYard apparently is just not working with the camera the way it was supposed to. So I was on the happy hour stream before this, and I'm like, it looks crystal clear in my face when I'm looking at the camera. And then all of a sudden it's like, everybody's like, yo, you're super blurry. And I put on YouTube and I was like, oh my God, it was super digitized. But that's fine, man. We can cast that aside for now. We got some Ledaig to drink tonight, my friend. Thank you for the last minute. I'm feeling a little pizza night. And I think there were a lot of folks on the happy hour that were excited about this. So this should be good.
Yes, and no, I don't mind. It's funny. I did a picture for the Akantoshin and all that, and then when I sent it, I was like, "Oh shoot!" But I thought, "Well, what the heck? I could always reuse the picture later."
The premise was I'd still be in California, so we would do the Akantoshin and so on and so forth, because I didn't have the Leceigs. But yeah, thanks for the last minute audible, and appreciate everybody for just kind of rolling with us on this. But I think this should be a lot of fun. I'm going to get a little bit of this Ledaig 10 in my glass. Now, we're going to do the 10 first?
Yeah, if you don't mind. That would make the most sense. We're dealing with, just as a little intro, I told them about the Tobermory being the non-peated, Ledaig being the peated. This is Burn Stewart, which is also known as Distel. They do Bunnahabhain, they do Tobermory, and they do Deanston. So really good trifecta of whiskeys they've got going.
Yeah, for real. You got your hands on anything new since the last time we talked? I know it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I finally got an order of some new goodies, and I'm looking forward to doing with you. And I do need to sit down with you at some point and just to go over the list to make sure I know what to bring on our little meetup. We'll probably have to schedule something maybe middle of maybe this month, because I don't think you've got my Macallan 18 yet, do you?
I don't. I have the Macallan 12 here, but I do not have the 18. No. So yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, it looks like that's not till like January the 19th anyway, so we got some time. But yeah, before that, I got to meet up with you and get you that. I've also got the Glencadam 21 ready for you.
Oh.
I got the Glengoyne 21 that just came in ready for you. I've got a Glenlivet 20. Say again?
So did you say you just got a Glengoyne 21?
Yes.
Oh shit! Telex has been busy, y'all.
Yeah, and I got a Glenlivet 21 that we'll be doing later on, and I've got to get that's the ones that came in was the Glenlivet 21, the Glengoyne 21, and the Akantoshin 21. Those were the three recently. Now my next pickup, which I'm going to do here, hopefully in the next like 2 weeks or so before I do the meetup with you, we're going to do a Balvenie 21. We're going to do the Glenfiddich 21 rum cask, hopefully. And we're going to take a look at the Tobermory 21 possibly, as well as the Glenmorangie 18, because that's like the latest one I could find. I couldn't find like a 21 Glenmorangie, unfortunately, but if they had one, I would try to get us one.
Yeah, for sure.
But those three are like the Glenmorangie, the Tobermory, the Glenfiddich, and the Balvenie are on my next to-do list. And down the road, I'd like to get a long row, but I don't know, that 21 is awfully pricey.
Yeah.
And, the Loch Lomond 21 would be nice. The Balblair 18 new one would be nice, but a lot of these are delayed from getting overseas. But we've got a good plan, I think, for the next couple months.
Yeah, definitely. We're also gonna get into some Ardbeg blind tasting, some Lefroy's. It's gonna be great.
You want to talk about this 10, or do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, I can set the table a little bit here. So let me give you all the tale of the tape. For those of you not familiar, this minimalist box belies the complexity within it. This is Ledaig 10. It looks like Ledaig. It's Ledaig. This comes out of the Tobermory distillery. This is their peated line. It is from the Isle of Mull, and to my knowledge, it is the only distillery on the Isle of Mull, but I may be wrong about that. This is bottled at, let's see here. What is this bottled at? It is 46.3% ABV. Explicitly says unchill filtered, which is, of course, fantastic. The bottle looks like this. And this is this is basically the heavily smoky peaty line out of Tobermory. They do a 10-year. This is core range. They have an 18, which is core range, and then they do some like 19-year-olds. I think they got a couple here and there, and there's a lot of independent bottling. So this is definitely a distillery I think that flies under the radar. A lot of folks probably don't have the, you see this on the shelf, you're not grabbing it because it's not Lafroig, it's not Lagavulin, it's not our bag. But as I think Telex and I will talk about a little bit tonight, this is one you're going to want to keep your eyes out for. I'm continually impressed with this. This is my second bottle of it. And yeah, I look forward to tasting a bit of this with you tonight, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's one of the most underrated distilleries I can think of next to Deanston, which is another distilled Burn Stewart product. And I think these three are outstanding lines, the Bunnahabhain, Ledaig, and the also Tobermory and the Deanston. It's like you said, their craft is what makes them, I think, stand apart. I wish that Macallan and Dalmore did whiskey like these guys are doing it. And even though that they're not huge on crazy marketing, I do like their style of marketing for both the 10 and the 18, the box, the profile, the way they do it. It's presentable without being over the top. It sticks to the good points, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I poured it earlier and I was thinking to myself, I can smell it across the room and it smells so damn good.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like this is one of those that, again, like I just think folks who like, I bought this because I heard about it from someone else. This is the quintessential whiskey that you hear about from someone you know, and then you buy it. Because otherwise, the average whiskey shopper at this, goes to the store and they're looking at the Isle of Scotch that they want something smoky. Maybe they're not grabbing the Ledaig. It's sadly, just not that story, right? So I think this is the diamond in the rough whiskey for sure. And I mean, I know that on the happy hour I just did, there were a lot of folks who were enthusiastic about Ledaig, but there are probably some folks in the chat who've never even heard of this stuff. So this is going to be a nice. We'll do a nice tasting here, and I think Telex and I will probably both be enthusiastic about this one.
Yeah, I was already looking forward to it. If you listen to guys like Food Quig and some other ones, they're really big fans of this distillery as well. It's funny how even though they're not well known, I've known very few people in the whiskey game, we'll call it, that have ever had a bad experience with a Tobermory or a Ledaig, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I love that nose.
Right. Well, let's get into it.
Really, really good looking viscosity. I think it's going to be like a good medium mouth coat if I had to take a guess.
For sure.
And this is not colored by any means either, I wouldn't think, right?
Yeah, it doesn't say explicitly. I mean, they explicitly talk about how it's unchill filtered. I mean, look at, like, they don't pull any punches. I mean, it literally right there. They are just like, this is not chill filtered. I can't say definitively that it has no E158 coloring, but so we'll go with what that says. Let me just take a quick look at the bottle here.
What I will say is if they don't label it, the good thing about these guys is, and I can tell by if I take the 18 and I put it right next to it, it's the shade you would expect. So if they are using coloring at all, thankfully, I think these guys are using it for actual true consistency issues and not using it to mask like a bad whiskey or anything like that.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, if it doesn't say it, we have to assume it, I guess. But again, as we talked about a few weeks ago, I think that I would rather have an unchill filtered whiskey with color than a chill filtered whiskey without it. So
exactly. It's
that's not a subtle dig at Glengoyne, by the way, but it is. What's up, Glengoyne? Yeah.
Ooh, Gary's got a 21 sherry butt Ledaig. That I bet is something else, man. Is that an independent bottling or is that a normal official one? I'm just curious because if it is an official one, I will have to find that one somehow. My bottle seemed darker than Ralphie's. I wonder which one he's talking about. If he's talking about the Ledaig or a different one. I might have missed the.
I gotta tell you, man, like that the immediate thing on the nose with this, which I really just appreciate, is there's a heavy citrus note, but it's rounded. Like it's not sharp enough to like prickle you. It's like it's rounded because there's those heavy bourbon, coffee, vanilla notes, and there's vegetal notes in this too. Like the nose on this is fantastic.
Yeah, I love that the islands is where this distillery is. Like Malt mentioned, it's the Isle of Mull, and Mull is just, if you think a little bit farther north of Islay and Jura, it's there is an island between them that isn't really well known, but it's kind of a couple islands up on the north. And islands have a really particular, distinct thing to me. A lot of people argue that they're not their own region. I beg to differ. I tend to think like Highland Park and Talisker and these guys specifically definitely have their own flavor of peat, their own flavor of spiciness, their own flavor of maritime notes that you can't get anywhere else, really. I love the ham in this one. There's a really nice
the smoked, the like clove, like that slightly clove sweet smoke. It's like Spanish paprika.
It reminds me of like a really good Virginia ham with like the cherries and pineapple on the side too.
Oh, that's real. Yeah, definitely.
And you're right. It's got this like vegetal. I want to say I'm not sure if it's mint or if it's like a sweet type of herb.
Yeah, basil.
Basil. Yep.
But again, it's subtle. Like it's subtle. It's like almost floral. There's just so much happening in this nose for a 10-year-old whiskey that like I just.
That's the weird thing. Even though it's 10, you're right. I mean, you get your florals, you get this really light, airy brightness, effervescence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
I'm not sure how they do it, but the price on this typically is a little higher. Isn't it about $75 for this one?
Not quite that high. I mean, this is in that 50 to 60 range, I think.
Oh, okay.
USD. So, I mean, more than you would pay for like a Lafroig 10 or like a, Ardbeg 10, but
just a little smidgen.
Right.
And I have to say it, even though I love the Lafroig 10 and the Ardbeg 10, this one does have a bit more complexity to it as a 10-year-old to me.
100% agree with you.
And that's just even we're only on the nose. We're not even through the palate and the finish yet. So that's the cool thing about this whiskey.
Yep. Well, let's do it. I'm going on the hot plancha, buddy.
Mm-hmm. And I adore the fact they do 46.7, right? 46.3 on both.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a nice roller coaster.
Yeah. The first thing I think is like, how is this 10 years old? It's almost like it has first fill qualities in that it's so viscous and oily and coating. Like you would think this is first fill bourbon.
Definitely. I definitely don't disagree with that at all. It's definitely got all the characteristics of a great ex-bourbon cask whiskey that I can think of. It kind of reminds me a bit of some of the really good straightforward bourbon-esque Springbanks, kind of like a Springbank 14 bourbon wood kind of a feel. It's got maybe not that much caliber, but it can hang with it almost.
Dude, this is. I'm sorry, man. This is so. it makes you look back at some of the 10-year-olds that are heavily peated and say, like, where did you guys go wrong? like not that they're bad, but when you have something like this that's this young and spirity, but yet seems to have an age that belies its statement, I'm sorry. Like, there's so much goodness happening in this. Rich, it's like dark toffee, caramel, almost dark chocolate, and milk chocolate. It's like sweet, but also earthy. And it just goes into this nice, beautiful spice. It's cinnamon. It's got this like herbaceousness, which again, the herbalness that you got on the nose, which I think you were right, like it's closer to basil, not as much here on the palate. Like it's more peppery.
Yeah, honey. White pepper.
Yeah, the always elusive white pepper.
It's so good.
And a nice long finish. It's like medium long finish.
It's got some really interesting
caramel. Man.
It's got some really good, interesting citrus notes with the orange and lemons that come on the palate, even with the peat. And like you said, it makes me wonder if these guys have their hands on kind of like where Glendronach had some really good old stuff that's marked in a 10-year-old bottle, but maybe this stuff is like 15. I mean, it does taste like between 12 and 15 to me.
Well, I'm like, fill, but they don't say anything about first fill. I mean, that's a bold flavor. You have to admit, there's a bold, intense bourbon flavor on this that I think makes me think. I'm reminded of that Lafroig 16, where it was like, holy shit, like there is so much of those bourbon notes forward. But the difference is this balances out so nice as it develops, where that one I felt kind of stayed with the same thing.
Yeah, that one to me, the Lafroig version to me was more on the oakier side. This one to me is more on the really nice citrus fruit level without being cloyingly sweet. It's like it's got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of everything. The caramel, the vanillas, it's got all the stuff going on, but it's all at the right levels where it never feels one-sided at all. Uh-oh, Malt, did you freeze?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. You scared me for a second there. I look over and you're like this.
We've had some tech difficulties tonight, my friend, but no, I'm good. I'm honestly just, the thing about this whiskey is I'm stunned every time I drink it, which is nothing I could say about a lot of really any of the other heavily peated whiskeys. I think this goes to bat against my personal favorite of the 10-year. You know, and we're talking Port Charlotte, we're talking Ardbeg, we're talking Lafroig. I mean, I think this Ardbeg is my favorite of those. I think this is there, if not better. It is just, it's just so freaking elegantly good. And the way that it delivers both an incredible experience of sweetness and like oiliness, caramel, dessert qualities, but has that robust effervescent peat smoke just riding under it, giving it life. Like, this is a fantastic whiskey.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ardbeg and Lafroig fanboy, as you know, and I agree. I would actually put this above the Ardbeg 10 and Lafroig 10. The Ardbeg 10 I love, but it's definitely got that overly lemony kind of feel to it. Right. This has got more of an orange lemon / almost like a crisp apple thing going on too. This has got like a really nice red delicious apple piece to it, which I think helps it. And the same with the one thing I like about the Lafroig that this might be missing is that iodine hospital PCP thing.
It doesn't have that medicinal, like you just walked into a dentist office and like kissed a mermaid who just ate barbecue, as they say. You know, like it doesn't have quite that. But it has enough robustness to carry it through where like nothing overrides the other thing. Like through the development of this into the finish, you still have the drying effervescent peat smokiness, but that caramel that just rolls through it. This is a fantastic whiskey.
Yeah, and for me to say I put it above the basic make of the Ardbegs and Lefroigs tells you a whole lot of what I think about there,
Yeah,
and not just Ledaig, the Tobermory, the non-peated stuff has some really good flavor to it. So if you ever get a chance to try either one, if you're not a Scotch guy, I would definitely start with the Tobermory and work your way up to Ledaig. But if you already are into like the Islas and the Islands and Campbelltowns,
yeah,
definitely don't be afraid to try the Ledaig line. You won't be disappointed in any way.
definitely not.
I love the
Um,
smoky level. It's got kind of a bit of a smokiness to it too, without the just depending on the peat by itself. I'm not sure how to explain that, but it's got this kind of back end smoke going on.
yeah, totally. This would be excellent in a cocktail.
Mm.
Like I could see this mixed. Like if you wanted to jazz up an old fashioned, like it has enough of the flavor, like the bourbon flavor, whereas like I think Lefroy or maybe Ardbeg would not work. Like this has enough of that going on, but still has that backbone, which is what's so I think remarkable about it.
Never thought about that, but you're right.
You know
It's
what
it's
I mean?
kind of it's kind of tough to mix even a 55 or $60 whiskey, but I have
True, true.
had great experience with doing it for really good high end cocktails. Like if you ever had a penicillin or like a Rob Roy that's made with certain good quality Isla whiskey, old fashions like you mentioned, anything that you can. If you can fit a peated whiskey with it, there have been. I remember when Lefroy came to Dry 85, which is the speakeasy in Annapolis. They kind of did like a bar takeover, and they did a lot of mixed drinks with Lefroy. And I wish I had those recipes. It might be worth like kind of a look on the side to see, what are some of the really good peated whiskey cocktails that you can come up with. Because if you do have a decent, really good, solid 10-year-old or a basic NAS to use, it's like the perfect way to kind of experiment and try to find something you like.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And dovetailing off of that, I just put some water on this because I was starting to notice the peppermint note. My God, does that mint note come through when you put a little bit of water on this? It's this nice cooling note right in the back end. Really impressive.
I'm gonna try that. Did
Yeah.
Is this the same? I'm just curious. I had an empty bottle that I just brought down so I could just look at it with you. Is this the one 18 that you have? Is it exact identical to this one?
Um,
I just want to make sure that I had the same exact one. I think it is. 18, yep, 46.3.
mine's a
Yep.
new release because I bought it in London, but it should be the same thing. 18. It's this is batch three Spanish
Batch
cherrywood.
batch 3. How do you tell the batch number on
Oh,
it?
it says it explicitly on here. So
Okay.
basically, we're looking at they've put it in Olorosa.
Does this say small batch Spanish sherry wood finish?
So mine says batch three Spanish sherry wood finish, but
Oh, okay. Interesting.
it's probably close to the same thing.
That's what I was thinking. That's cool. Okay. And did it come with like a little wooden box like this guy
No,
does?
yeah. I got a whole thing here. I brought this back from London. Yeah, and it explicitly says batch three. This is what the box looks like. Explicitly says it on here. It's got the little draw thing. Oh yeah,
Interesting.
I mean it's similar, but mine says batch number three, limited release, Isle of Mull, Tobermory Distillery, etc. etc.
Cool. Okay.
And
I
it's
did get,
a UK thing. I mean, like I bought this in the UK, so it might be a UK thing. Where,
yeah, because I think this is 750. I did this. I got this one in the United States. So that might have been the why it's different. I did get it a couple of years ago too, so it's probably an older deal. But yeah, I'm sure it's the same type of juice, so it's going to be interesting to see what you think about that one too. Because I really like that bottle that I had.
yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
I'm gonna try that mint note that you were talking about with the water.
I'm getting a lot of mint, like it's peppermint. It's in the background. It's like working with the smoke.
And that's the funny thing. I was getting that on the nose initially, and then it went more into like a basil, like you were saying. So maybe this will bring the mint back out again,
God damn.
like a menthol. Yeah.
See, I don't get it menthol. It's sweeter than menthol for me. It's spearmint. It's spearmint peppermint.
No, I got you on the taste. You're right. I was on the nose. I was seeing if I can get that mint back, but you're right. It's more of a sweeter spearmint type on the palate after the water.
God damn, that's good.
You still got that really great splash of vanilla.
Yeah, there's almost a little grapefruit too. Now with water, you might notice it on the finish. There's a little bit of that tart sourness.
Thankfully for me, the white pepper is still there to balance that part out. I am getting a little bit of that pithy.
Yeah,
part.
the citrus. Yeah,
but I'm definitely not bitching about it. Thankfully, and I do see what you're talking about with that being grapefruit-ish, but thankfully, since I hate grapefruit, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, I don't like that. You know?
Yeah, it's like a tolerable amount of grapefruit. You remember when you were young and like there was always the family who had the friend who they ate grapefruit, but they just dumped a bunch of sugar on top of it. Like that's what this is doing right now. That's what this is doing.
That's a good analogy because there is so much nice sweetness going on. It's funny with that white pepper. It's got this pixie stick kind of a
definitely like juicy fruit gum.
Mm-hmm. That's wild, man. This has got to be in I mean, I'm trying to think of a flat 10 that could kick this guy's ass, but it's really hard to think of one.
Not in the peated range.
Yeah, because I mean, just looking around, like peated wise,
I think the closest thing to this is Kilchoman Mocker Bay.
Good point. Yeah,
because it has more of that toffee vanilla thing that's more assertive. But I don't think it rivals it. I really don't. You want to do final thoughts score first, or I can go?
You go ahead and go first. I'm still gonna have a little bit more while you're talking.
Yeah. So if you haven't noticed, Telex and I are both fawning over this whiskey. I think Ledaig 10 is honestly probably my favorite young age-stated peated Scotch that you can get. I think it perfectly balances the peat smoke with the bourbon notes, and there's a lot of complexity in this. I am not saying this to slight some of my other favorites, which is like Ardbeg 10, Laphroaig 10, even Port Charlotte. I just think this whiskey is so well crafted. It has used quality casks, and the balance is so right. This is a diamond in the rough. It is worth the extra $10. If you're somebody who's looking to try something else peated, I'm a 4.25 out of 5 on this. I think this is a buy it right now whiskey.
Yeah, I can't really argue much with that. It's funny. I was trying to think. I'm like, is there any normally peated whiskey that I could like even do a shootout with? And I'm thinking, well, one that might be worth a look at side by side. I don't have any now, unfortunately, because I haven't had a bottle of it in quite a while. Is the Lagavulin 8 could maybe be a good comparison, but this one,
that's a good point. Yeah,
I think I still would like this one better because this one's fruit is so perfectly balanced when it comes to the tartness, the sweetness, the acidity, everything. And that's just talking about the fruit. We're not even going into like the creaminess of the vanillas and the toffees and the butterscotch notes and all sorts of other spice levels and florals. I mean, it's got.
I'm like, I'll be honest with you, just to bookend my little final thought there. I'm actually, we are here on December 1st, which means we're getting damn close to whiskey of the year territory. I don't know how this doesn't make my top 5.
No, I would agree. I think I'll go 4.0 on this one. I'm not sure if I'll go the 0.25, but I'm definitely in for a 4 because the way I look at this, I gave the Glendronach 12 a 4 out of 5 because this is my favorite basic 12-year-old sherried whiskey, and I think this is his brother. If you were going to look at what's a great sherry 12-year-old, Glendronach 12 to me is definitely in the top 3 of those, and this guy for peated 10-year-olds, it's probably one or two in top, one or two.
Yeah,
So it's an easy 4 out of 5 for me too. So I mean,
right
top
on,
notch.
man.
It's a great choice, and a lot of people will say that thankfully here in Maryland it's pretty easy to find. But if you go in the West Coast, I've heard it's really tough to find. So hopefully, if you are a fan, you've got a easy way to get your hands on some.
Yeah, that's real talk, man.
Always order if you
I'm
know.
100% with you there. Like, I think I just this when you talk about a peated Scotch, and it's not even from Islay. Like, let's let in bold letters. Like, when we talk about this, we're talking about comparing this to things like Ardbeg 10, like Lafroig 10, like classic malts of Islay, heavily peated Scotches. I'm sorry, but like I think this whiskey beats them. I mean, when I did a 3-way comparison video review between Ardbeg 10, Port Charlotte 10, and Lafroig 10 about I don't know, a month or two ago on my channel, and Ardbeg 10 was the highest score at 4.25. And I'll tell you right now, like comparing the two, if you gave them to me blind and I had to choose one, I probably would go with the Ledaig. I really would.
Yes.
I think this is as far as heavily peated, young spirity scotches, and young whiskeys that are heavily peated are the best. Like in my opinion, like you want that peat smoke, you want that punch in the face, the car tire, the fucking all of that. You get it in spades with this, man, but it has so much dynamism.
Yeah,
with this is a must have on your bar.
Yeah, the Lagavulin 8, I think this does beat that. I was thinking about the Bunnahabhain Choichik even. I think the first one, it beats that one.
Yeah.
I do like the Choichik Aha, the second release, maybe a little more, but only because it's got sherry involvement in it. If you're just talking straight up,
I hear
bourbon
you.
This, to me, the only whiskey I think that would beat this one that's in the same age range, but definitely not in price, is the Springbank Bourbonwood 14. That's a great whiskey.
Right. But we're doing like, that's like a
4.25, 4.5 out of 5, but it's a 12-year-old. I'm sorry, it's a 14-year-old Bourbonwood. So it's like, it's almost like it's in the same ballpark, but you would think the Bourbonwood would kick its ass, but this can actually hang with that one, I think.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. I mean, and even at 4 years younger, like, this is stellar whiskey. So we got a 4 out of 5 out of Telex, the Whiskey Tech, 4.2 out of 5 or 2.5 out of 5 from Malt Muser. If any of y'all have not got yourself a bottle of this and you like yourself a peated whiskey, Ledaig 10.
Yeah, Dustin, I think Dustin brought up a good point. The only other outside of Isla Peat that I can think of that I fell in love with was two come to mind. And one is the Balvenie 14 and 17. The peat weeks are pretty damn good. The 17 was by far probably one of my favorites. The 14 is pretty good too. But the only other one besides that I could think of is the
Ben Romick Peat Smoke.
Well, yeah, the Benromics have a great. The Imperial Proof. That's got a much higher ABV, but that's the only one that's a 10-year-old, and I think the reason
I got the bottle of it. This is discontinued now.
Yeah, sadly, and that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got myself one.
The only other one besides that is the Ben Ryack has a Curiositas peat that's pretty good. But you have to go to like the Septim Disum, which is a 17-year-old, to really get that quality. I think the Solstice is a 16, but you're really talking a lot.
17, but like, good luck finding it.
Yeah, you have to go way above 10 years to, and that's, I guess, what we're trying to get across to you guys is that not only is it could stand up with Isla Peat, it can do it at a 10-year-old basis, which is insane compared to these guys that are hanging with Isla Peat, but they're doing it at a much older, bottling.
Yeah,
that's the tough one. Ooh, Clownleash 14 sounds good to me.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I'm gonna run and get a little bit more water here, and then we're almost at the top of the hour, so we'll set ourselves up for the Ledaig 18, y'all. I'll be right back.
Good, no problem, man. catch up with a couple comments for you guys because I do miss being able to talk to you guys on the side here. Anyone tried the Kilhoman Fino? That is the new one, and I have not seen that one yet available. If I do see it, I'm going to grab one. I do have a really good Kilhoman place. Oh, and I do have a slightly peated Oloroso and a slightly peated bourbon that have not opened yet that I'll have to get to malt on the side for a little bonus show at some point and see what he thinks about that. Brooke Lottie. Ooh, 2007. Olive Barley, Klein Leash. Hard to top, yeah, I agree with that one. I have indies that are cast strength. Okay. Not a fan of the Balvenie Peat Weeks. Did you try the 17, Steven? I'm just curious if you tried that one, if you didn't like the 14. A couple of them have been pretty good. Got the Fino in order. Cocoon heavily peated. It's okay. I was not. The batch one was the one I had, and it was okay. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. It was a little on the funky side, or not good funky, kind of disjointed, I guess is the word for it, for my taste at least. I'm sure Kitten will appreciate that. Good to see you. 14, 2003 was awesome. I'm sure I see some of the Klein Leash probably there. I think. Oh, the 14-year Peat Week, I think you're talking about. Never mind. Variation, I don't know. I think Dustin's probably the best one to ask on that one. I'm going to let Chega, the heavily peated ones from outside of Isla lean towards also low calic street Talisker. Yeah, Talisker is another one that's got that 10-year-old that can hang. I'll have to mention that to Maul. I know he's not a huge fan of it, but I think that it definitely stands up with this one. These 210s are really up there with the Isla Pete. Massive difference side by side. Looking at 14 Peat Week, it really interests me. Yeah, if you tried peat outside of Isla and you're not opposed to that, then that's definitely one to at least try. Delvis, not heavy peated, so I'm not sure if I heard of that one. 14-year, 2003. Okay. The 17, there's a 17 Peat Week, Dustin, if you haven't had it. Oh, good to see you, man. You just ordered the Talisker Port-Ree. The Port-Ree is okay, Trooper. I think I gave it like a 3.25 to 3.5. It's not a bad whiskey per se. It just doesn't have the finish that I was hoping for. It's tough to get a really good finish on that one for me, but the flavor, the nose and the palate were good. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Just don't be thinking that the finish is going to last very long on that particular bottle. But yeah, we were just talking about Talisker 10 is a really good one. I mean, I know you're not a huge fan of that one. On the spice, the black pepper is really in your face, but
yeah, the young Taliskers never did it for me. The Storm. Even the Dark Storm, I know I'm a hater on those. People will throw me over the rake for that, but yeah, I don't. Talisker 10 there's something about it. I think it's just that pepper note.
Yeah, that black pepper is really in your face on like you said, it's the 10 and the Dark Storm and the Storm. I'm not sure what it is about their black pepper note, but they definitely are able to get a real kicker out of it. And it is thinking of that particular note. I think Taliskers have the most black pepper of any whiskey I've ever had, pretty much.
Speaking of, I'm going to get my 18 in the glass and ready for us to do at the top of the hour here. So.
Good plan. I'm going to.
You had this one before?
I was lucky enough to have this, like I said, this older version, I guess, but it's only a few years difference.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Sample of this one?
Say again?
Did I send you a sample of this?
Yes, you did, and I'm glad you did because I did not have any left of this. This is an old bottle I just brought out because I had the empty still, and I just wanted to show folks what it looked like in case you didn't have yours with you. And but yeah, I mean it's glorious. It's one of my favorite whiskeys of all whiskeys. So That
Well,
tells you I'm a big fan of Ledaig. So you didn't have to take much to twist my arm when you're like, "Hey, what did you think about doing a Ledaig show?" You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
even have to ask twice.
I think the answer is unequivocally hell yes.
I was finishing
What's
off
up,
my old
Trooper? Trooper Henry's in the house sipping some Talisker 18. Okay. Trooper, you know what's up.
Yeah, I was just finishing off that 10, but man, I think you're right. I need to get another bottle of that because I haven't had that one in ages.
I
And
feel like you gotta. I feel like the 10 is something you just gotta have all the time. I increasingly find myself like reaching for it, and if I don't have it, I'm like, damn. It is. It's just fantastic, man. It's a fantastic whiskey.
I had a question for you that we're on the talk of going kind of back to whiskey. How long has it been since you tried any of the either the Oban 14, the Little Bay, or the Distiller's Edition? Any of the Obays? Have you? I mean, I'm sorry, the Obans. Have you gone back to those at all recently? And did you
I
think
have not. No, I have not. The Oban 14 was the first Scotch that got me from bourbon. Like I went from tequila to bourbon, and then bourbon to Scotch, as terms of like what I was most interested in. And Oban 14 was the one that moved me over there. But I'll tell you, I probably haven't had a glass of Oban 14 since I had a bottle of it, and that was years ago.
Yeah, and the only reason I've always been wanting to get a good bottle of it. I've got I've had the 14, the 18, the Little Bay, and the Distiller's Edition before, like in tastings and stuff. But the first bottle I bought for myself was that Bay Reserve from the Game of Thrones series. That was a really good bottle, believe it or not. It is very smoky, and when you think Oban, you don't typically think a smoky whiskey.
Yeah,
You think,
it's lightly smoked. Like
yeah.
It reminds me a bit of an Isla, right? Like, or not an Isla, an island whiskey. In that, like, it has a little bit of that maritime note. It's got a bit of the saltiness. It has a bit of the smoke, but it's not the star of the show. It's kind of like the opening act. Yeah.
It's kind of definitely more into the floral type section, and it kind of reminds me of like a lighter Highland Park, basically.
Yeah,
it's got really good of everything. But the funny thing is, if you ever get your chance, I'd love to see what you think. I don't have any left. I give it to you myself. But if you ever do run across the sale, which I've seen these bottles go for $10 to $20, no joke. So if you do run across it, definitely pick it up because it's definitely worth a lot more than $10 to $20.
Which one? The Little Bay?
No, the Oban Bay Reserve out of that Game of Thrones
I've
series.
never even seen that. Oh, the
black bottle. The Black Night Watch bottle, yeah.
Okay.
Because you remember you saw that sale on the Lagavulin 9? I just saw another place in Wisconsin, of all places, had the same price on that. So I think Diageo has got a boatload of this stuff they're trying to offer.
You think about all those people who like splurged money to buy the entire Game of Thrones collection, and then I rolled into High Times Liquor. This was like 3 weeks ago in Costa Mesa, California, and they were selling the Lagavulin 9 Game of Thrones for $25. I was like, yoink. And I filled that whole bottle in like a week. I was like, man, it was amazing.
Keep your eyes out because I saw another place that had a really good sale on the same Lagavulin 9 bottle. And I have seen these other ones in the same series go for sale. Thankfully, when I bought mine, I was patient enough to just grab them one by one. I paid like $30 for one here, and maybe the only one I felt like I maybe overpaid for was maybe the Kleinlich one, but that was a cask strength, so I kind of felt it was one of the, I think it was around 75 or something crazy. It's worth maybe 60. As well, I mean, most of these bottles I think are worth around maybe the 60 minus, like the Glendullan is more of a $30, and the Cardew and the some of those. But I mean, some of them are like the Talisker one's pretty tight, but I wouldn't go more than $45-$50 for them. So if you can find them for 20 now, man, I would definitely get your hands on that Oban one just to see what you think of it. And I'm curious to go back and maybe try finding the reason I haven't bought another Oban bottle is they're usually so damn expensive. Have you noticed that too? Well, Did he freeze? I think he might have froze. Well, he'll come back hopefully. um, the that's the thing. It's like I thought about getting like an Open 21 or something, but it's just a bit on the high side when it comes to the price tag. And since Opens are more floral usually, minus that black bottle, I'm kind of, it's not on my, not my wheelhouse to me go crazy and go and try to buy, spend a lot of money on a bottle like that. But it'd be nice on the side. Yeah, you don't want to spend that much on that bottle. If you do get that bottle, and I have tasted it right after I opened it, and like after some time, that bottle is not good. I enjoyed like the neck pour basically, and when I got down to like halfway, I offered it in a tasting with some people on the side, and let's just say that it did not go as well as I thought it was going to. And I didn't disagree, because after oxidation, I didn't enjoy that one at all. Dustin got a good deal on that Mortlock, but I would be careful. Yeah, I would be careful in that one. It's definitely worth maybe the 80, but if you do decide to, even, I think it's high even for that, I would drink that bottle quick, or at least have some major plans for dealing with the oxidation part of it. So looks like Malt's trying to join back. I think he might be having some. You didn't, Stephen. It was not good after the oxidation. I enjoyed the first part of it, but at the first part had more like hazelnuts, had more of a slight minerality, but it was enough to give it kind of like a bitter back end balance, and it was good at the beginning, but it just didn't hold up after just slight oxidation, which really is a scary thing. Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can get him in here.
Sorry about that. I had a little computer crash situation.
That's okay. You're doing well now, it looks like, at least.
Good. Yeah, new digs, new situation.
Unfortunately,
technical difficulties seem to be the.
You're cutting out again. Hopefully you come back. Maybe.
You still hear me okay?
No, but your video is frozen, I think. There we go.
Can you hear me okay?
Now it's synced back up. I think it was like out of sync or something for a bit there. Now you're back in focus. And
I got a new situation here, so I'm running into some tech difficulties. So my apologies.
That's okay. It's like in and out. We'll just have to do the best we can. Hopefully, that's strange, but hopefully it's just a intermittent thing coming. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Gary. That's a lot of money for a 21. Open.
I have an Open 18. If you're ever interested in doing an Open, I do have an unopened Open 18.
Oh, cool. Okay, that would not be bad. I'll definitely try to pick something up on the side. I'm not sure if I'll go for that crazy 21, but you never know.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour. Are you interested in diving into this Ledaig 10 here, or Ledaig 18 in a few minutes here?
Yes, let's do that. Had a little palate cleanser, and
perfect.
I poured it.
Let me throw it on the tail of the tape here. So I have a UK release, but I think it's very similar to the US. So comes in a ostentatious solid wood box here. This is, well, they say it's a limited release. It is still bottled at 46.3%, so just like the 10-year-old. The major difference with this one, however, is that this is has a Spanish sherry wood finish. So we're looking at a sherry version of Ledaig. They got a whole little booklet on the thing here. I won't regale everybody with the like ins and outs of what they say here because honestly, it's a lot of type. But at the end of the day, we're basically looking at a similar profile. This is unchill filtered, explicitly written on the fucking label. So you have to appreciate that. And yeah, unsure about color, but again, this is an unchill filtered whiskey. It's heavily peated. It's 18 years old. So we're going up almost 100% on the peat scale here, or on the age scale in terms of Ledaig. And if you were here for the first hour, you're going to know that our fandom of the 10-year-old Ledaig should carry potentially into this 18-year-old. So let's get into it, bud.
And this is all Oloroso sherry, correct?
Well, it says it's finished in Spanish sherry cask. So I'm assuming Oloroso, and I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe a year or two. Who knows? But I mean, if you look at the color here, I mean, that is explicitly different. We don't know if it's natural color, but we know it's unchill filtered.
Yeah, from my notes, this should be finished all in Oloroso sherry, but like you said, on some of these batches, it's hard to be completely sure, but I would not be surprised, and we'll definitely be able to tell by the taste if we're dealing with Oloroso versus something else, I think, too. Because typically, like unless it's like Manzanilla or some Fino, you're going to get really dry acidity with those. With Oloroso, you get those dried figgy date kind of feeling fruits, and with the PX, you're going to get the real overly sweet, cloyingly, almost strawberry raspberry kind of a feel. So hopefully, this is more in the dry fruit area. It definitely smells like Oloroso as soon as you put your nose in the glass.
It sure does. Let us know in the chat if you had a Ledaig 18 or another kind of high, heavily aged Ledaig. We would love to hear about your experience with them. Telex, I will let you take lead on the nose with this one. But I think you and I are immediately like feeling the same thing.
Oh yeah, Stephen Connor. I think you might have had you. I think he actually might have this bottle, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us what you thought of it. I think you've had at least an 18, if not exactly this batch. You probably have had other ones before. This is Spanish sherry wood, yeah, from what Malt was saying, I believe.
Yep.
And you get a really nice blend of not just the red fruit, but some really nice spiciness going on in the background too. But it's not like over too much in your face like a Talisker would. This is more emphasis on the fruit, which I really like about Ledaig's profile in general. They're always kind of going for not just the peat or just some particular note you get off a bourbon cask. They're also going, or the sherry, they're also going for like the florals and the fruit and salty sweetness, brininess. Oh man, even get some really nice dark chocolate in there.
To piggyback on you, brother, like the dry fruit notes are like the combination of the dry fruit and the fresh fruit are so intense here. You can parse them apart, but it really, like, even if you can't, it's so harmonious. I mean, I'm thinking like you put your hands into a bunch of dried dates and currant, and then like there's a fresh blueberries and raspberries and apples next to you. And it's just all wafting together. Incredible note.
And the cool thing is
that, again, it's that like raw smokiness. It's slightly charcoal. It's slightly metallic, but it's all just intense, man. Intense.
Yeah, I love the fact that
toffee, like the bourbon notes, definitely.
I love the fact that the chocolate is going into also more of like a cocoa / espresso kind of a note. It's really on the back. It's got some nice balance of the sweetness, the bitters from the cocoa, the saltiness, and the brininess.
Yeah.
Also, you get you get some. I mean, the sherry it is really powerful. I mean, but there is a little bit of floral going on still too.
Yeah, I agree.
Huh. So it's almost like it's almost got roses in there too. It's wild.
Seriously, no, man, you're hitting the floor. Like, and this is something that I've noticed a consistency within our like tasting palates. You have a little bit more of a nose for the florals than I do, and when you mention it, I tend to pick it up more because I'm noticing it, but it's not fully registering. But it is there for sure. Lavender, like fresh flower, like it is just boisterous as hell, man. Despite all of that other darker concentrated stuff, like it has this like light effervescence. It's fantastic.
Yeah, same thing with the herbals from you. Like,
but boy, man, the core of this is
same thing with like you were talking about. I was able to get florals. You're able to get herbals that I can't pick up sometimes, which is really nice to have, because sometimes I'll be like, I do get some sort of herbal note, but I can't figure out what it is, and you'll say something that's like, bam, that's the one I'm looking for.
Right.
Am I crazy?
Or spectrum right here? And like,
am I crazy? Say again. Sorry.
No, go for it. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, am I crazy, or am I getting like some Concord grape almost in here too, and like a deep grape note?
Totally. Yeah. And honestly, there's also a like, I don't know how you describe it. It's almost like wet concrete. Just in the back, I described it as metallic, but I think I would rephrase that. It's more like an alkaline, more like a condensed, just like rawness, which I associate more with concrete, like wet concrete. It's kind of like musty. It's kind of there's like a weird sweetness to it, It's all just right there in the background.
It's like when Bart talks about Bondo Putty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
It kind of reminds me of like when you're doing like modeling and you've got like the modeling clay or something.
Yeah. Totally.
That's wild. We're for your taste.
Let's do it, buddy. Slancha.
Wow, that goes for a while, doesn't it?
Wow. Okay.
It's funny. I think the viscosity on this one is thicker than the last one, which is kind of interesting. It's got more even. This kind of feels like a Clynelish to me in a way.
I don't know if I get the waxiness that I would associate with the Clynelish, but I take your point. Oh man, you're getting that right on the back end of the finish. That dark chocolate kind of like caramel thing that just surges up way at the end. God,
this reminds. You ever had one of those chocolate raisins that have the chocolate covered raisins? It reminds me of like a caramely raisin kind of a thing. Wow, man! And I could eat a whole bag of those myself.
Real talk.
As you could tell.
Hey man, I'm right there with you, brother. Trust me. So this is a roller coaster.
A good one though.
Very sweet, oily, sweet, and when I say sweet, it's fruit sweet. It was like bright, slightly tropical, but mostly like your kind of traditional red fruits. You're talking ripe red berries, some apple, and then you get this nice potent spice, dry cinnamon, clove. Let me take that back. Not clove, allspice. And then it kind of comes back up as it goes into the finish. Malted milk ball, dark dried fruit. The dried fruit is so intense on this. Peat smoke is there, but it's much more in the background than it is playing assertive as it was on the 10, but it's still enough to like balance. Again, incredibly balanced. Despite how it's a roller coaster, when it all comes together, everything is like playing harmoniously with this. And that again, I mean, this is consistent with the Ledaig 10, which I can't say I find in a lot of heavily peated scotches. I mean, this is quite peaty and smoky for an 18-year-old.
Definitely. I'm surprised at how well the peat stands up and isn't muddled or masked over with all the intense flavor that they give you. I was looking at the notes just to see if I could find anything about the coloring, because I don't think this is colored, even though it's on the darker side, because it's 18 years, and this is what you would expect on an 18 Oloroso finished dram, I would say.
Boy, oh boy. Whoa.
I love the fact that even though you get kind of a licorice note with this, it's not over in your face where it's like, ugh, because I usually hate red and black licorice, but
the anise note.
I like this, like a Chinese five spice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you know that with the allspice and it does have this black jelly bean part, which I do like black jelly beans, but I don't like it when it gets way over into the licorice bitter side. And thankfully, this is not that far that way. It's more toward the sweet balanced area. This has got a little black pepper going on, but is this too much black pepper for you?
Yeah, it does. It really does. It really does. This is an exciting whiskey, man.
Do you mind the black pepper on this one, or is it?
I don't know. It's not. It's again, like, I think it comes back to the balance here. Like, there is so much complexity happening in this, and so many of these notes are loud, but they're somehow playing well together. Like the dry fruit, the smoke, the caramel, the allspice, like they're all really loud. I mean, they are jumping, but they are somehow working together at the same time. It's not like it's a roller coaster, but it somehow blends together so well. I mean, this is, again, it's quite fantastic.
Has anyone ever had a better distillery bottle than this one from Ledaig? I'm just curious if this is like, I know they have a 19 and they do like I've seen and I've tasted like a Mezzanilla 19 before, which it's only 1 year difference. I'm not aware of any 21 or 25-year-old Ledaigs. There might be some out there. Has anyone had a better bottle of than this one? Not talking independents or 30 to 50-year-olds, but like a 21, 25-year-old Ledaig. Has anyone ever had one before? I'm just curious. That Hamlet is still there, which I love too, that you could still get the pieces of the 10, and it's I guess that's what makes this such a great 18-year-old, is the base is so damn good. Hell, 8 more years in a sherry, Oloroso sherry deal maturation. It's like, how could you go wrong, really? Because I'm assuming they're taking the 10 and they're putting this 8 years in the Oloroso cask, you would think, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I do think that the Oloroso influence on this and the sherry influence on this is really significant. I mean, this is a very different whiskey than that 10-year-old, but I still get a lot of the bourbon notes.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me like wonder, maybe it's more in the 3-4 year range. I don't know. I mean, I'm speculating, right? God, man, that finish goes on. This is a long finish. I'm getting juicy fruit, almost like popping strawberry, juicy fruit gum kind of thing going on right now, which is, I mean, I sipped this 5 minutes ago. Fantastic.
And I was getting off those things off of the 10 as well. So it's a testament.
Yeah.
It's a testament to how great of a product they've got with the base, and they're smart enough to take it and make it even better. And for 150, which is usually the price, I think, for this 18, 150, is that what you?
About in that range. Yeah. I mean, I got it in the UK. I think I got it at the Whisky Exchange actually in London. It was like 98 pounds, something like that. So yeah, around that 135, 140 range. I
think it's well worth it. I would not hesitate to put that down on this bottle at all.
No, I mean, I'll be honest, in terms of like heavily sherried whiskeys, I mean, this reminds me, if you take maybe 10% off of the mouthfeel of a Glendronach 18 Allardyce and add it to peat, that's what you're working with here.
Ooh, wouldn't that be glorious if Glendronach had a way to take their...
They do make a peated whiskey, like, hey, let's fuse that together a little bit.
Yeah, I like the peated batches. I wasn't a huge fan of the peated portwood as much, but the peated standard Glendronach, I had a batch 7, I think was my last one I had, and I was looking enough to have a batch 5, and they were all really solid, but it would be amazing to see what they could do with an 18-year-old version of that, because I can imagine the Allardyce with this kind of peat. Holy shit, that would be awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm going to go for a little bit of water.
All right, man.
I can't even imagine what's going to happen here because I'm hard pressed to think this can get better. But I'm doing about a half teaspoon.
Hopefully, if I'm right, this one will hopefully bring up the bourbon notes a bit. I'm hoping that the spice level doesn't get too crazy, because usually when you add even a drop of water to a whiskey that's got an undercurrent of spice, it will become even more spicy initially, at least. But hopefully the level won't be in our faces on this one. And I'm just doing a couple of drops because I only have a little bit left in this pour here, because I'm saving my last part of the sample for going back to the neat deal. What are you guys drinking tonight? I should have asked earlier. Hopefully, sorry about this. I know a lot of people had Akatoshans waiting, but I told them that. No, it's okay. We'll circle back and have that later, and they said they had enough. But is anyone drinking Ledaig tonight? If you are, let us know what it is, and if not, let us know what it is anyway. Oh, man, the nose has gone ultra, sweet.
Yeah.
It's like a bourbon bomb almost on the nose.
I'm still getting a lot of the sweet fruit, but I agree with you. The bourbon notes are asserting themselves, which makes me think this is probably not, I don't know, not super aged in sherry.
Maybe 4 years, yeah.
Because even with water, this is so harmonious. This is a stellar whiskey.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4 to 5 years probably on the maturation. I think you got it on that one. But I tell you what, man, the quality, I know they're saying ex-sherry. This tastes to me really close to that Balvenie 15 single barrel sherry. It's got that kind of...
It's funny you mention that. It doesn't say ex-sherry on this one. It just says batch 3 Spanish sherry wood finished. So it is a finish, which means it's not full sherry. But I other than that, I don't know. You know what? I'll take a little look at this booklet here and see if it says anything, because I have a sense that you're probably right.
Yeah, spice level's still up on the palate, but I do like I love the nose after the water, because, man, do I get a boatload of caramely, butterscotchy, vanilla, really up in your face. But you're right; those fruit notes are not completely gone, thank God, off the nose either.
Yeah. It doesn't say how long, and this might be an internet thing, but yeah.
One thing I do love about this after the palate for the water is it does take that anise, that licorice level down a bit. Uh-oh, I think you might have froze. There you are.
Man. I'm here. I see you. Are you still there?
Yeah. I think maybe. I think he's going to have to play around with his settings and get get this sorted out here. Let's see if we got him back. Hopefully, maybe. There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You're like this. Oh my.
I'm here. Yeah, man. I'm not even sure where to. I like.
It's like a hearty, like
This
a robust.
is one of the most dynamic. Yeah.
It's like a robust, like raisinette. It's like a
This is
raisinette
one of the
on
more
steroids.
dynamic 18-year-olds I've ever had.
Yeah. Oh my. It's funny because there's a little bit of sulfur, but it's definitely not up in the high range of sulfur. It's just a little bit detectable because of the sherry, but it's a really nice level, I think. Mm. I think I prefer it with a couple of drops. What do you like it better neat?
I think I like it neat. My God, the finish is still so wonderful, even with water, but I feel like it takes a little bit away from the palate. I honestly, I could go either way. I wouldn't complain. It got a little lighter and a little bit more languid with water, but I might have put a little bit more in than you did. I put about a half teaspoon.
No, I just put like 3 or 4 drops, like little droplets of there, just enough to tone down that licorice note, and just enough to keep it like. I agree with you. I think I prefer it neat on the power, but that sulfur slash licorice thing is what I was trying to get around, and I think just a couple of drops did it.
Man, this is. Blackberries, man, current, like.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that they were able to get this at 46.3 as well on both years, both age statements. I'm surprised that they kept it. I'm so glad they did, but it's such a rarity to see that, really. And 46 is almost perfect. I mean, of course, we all love our whiskey cask strength when we can get it. But with that said, I mean, at 46.3, I mean, you can't really bitch about that at all.
You said earlier on the 10, the grape note. Are you getting a little bit of that on the finish on this? The dryingness of the like kind of, it's not even tannic like oakwood. It's like tannic like a white grape.
Yeah, to me, this finishes almost like a Merlot dry kind of grapey note. It's got the kind of really nice finish to it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. Exactly.
And thankfully, I mean, usually I don't like dry finishes, but this one actually I dig because it's got so much fruit and so much spice going on with it. It lingers on with that dryness, which I think makes it stand up. Go ahead, man. Sorry about cutting you off earlier.
No, you're good. I was echoing the same thing. Like the thing that's so interesting about this is that, and I would love to hear in the chat if anybody has had Ledaig 18 and what your thoughts were. The thing that's really interesting about this is, for me, the end of the development gets dry, and you're just about to say, let me rephrase. I'm just about to say, okay, it's a bit on the drying side, and then all of a sudden it's juicy fruit again. And I'm left with this really nice sweetness. This is a fantastic whiskey. I can't even. Again, not a starter whiskey. I mean, for folks in the chat who are probably at least in like kind of like quote unquote intermediate range, which is subjective, but you know what I'm talking about when I say it. Yo, this is for an 18-year-old, especially with the prices you see around 18-year-olds these years. I think this is probably one of the best 18-year-olds you can get. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I mean, I'm a 4.5 out of 5 on this. I'm leaning towards a 4.75 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just incredible, and I think it's a testament to the craft. You can tell this is made well. The amount of the dynamism of this whiskey is I mean, this is Glendronach 18 Allardyce level, but taken even to 3 more dimensions. Like, I really think this is probably one of the best, if not the best 18-year-olds I've ever had.
Definitely. I mean, I do prefer it more than the Glendronach 18 by itself, just because it's got this great peat that goes along with the sherry. Um, it's a perfect marriage of both worlds, being a peat head and the sherry head. I like both, and this like dots all the I's, crosses all the T's, and I am going to go up to the 4.75 on this one because I
Fuck
mean,
yeah. Fuck
other than
yeah. Don't hold it back. Don't hold back.
I mean, other than increasing the ABV to a cask strength, what really would you do differently? It's got a great color, even if they do. I don't think they color this, to be honest with you, but even if they did, they do it in such a way that you can hardly tell. That's a good point for me. That's definitely unchill filtered. That's great. 18-year statement. The brand is good. The marketing makes sense. The price level is exquisite, even though I don't even factor price into the scores. That's the only. I mean, if it was 54%, that would make it a 5 out of 5 for me, probably.
Maybe or maybe not, right? Like
Right.
maybe the character would be worse, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, you're right. Because sometimes some of these guys, even that we do like it at that 54, 55, if we can get it, sometimes if the craft just isn't right or the cask isn't right, the age isn't right, it can throw a lot of this stuff off. So you
No,
got a
man,
good
I
point.
appreciate that. And you know, like I say, like I was right in that range. I mean, I'm the way after what you just said, I think to myself, like, what doesn't justify this as a 4.75 out of 5? I don't know. I think it's so perfectly crafted for what it is. I think the only thing that could make this better is more age, and it would have to be done right. And I would trust Toby Moore to do right. You know what? I'm going to revise that. I'm going to go 4.75 out of 5. I think this is a 4.75 out of 5. So I'm with you. This is
Yeah.
one of the best whiskeys you can get. I think if you're in the intermediate range, like, and really trying to explore things that are a little bit more complicated and challenging, you're hard pressed with the price, with the quality. You're hard pressed to find a better whiskey than Ledaig 18. I'm sorry, this is a killer whiskey, absolutely killer.
Looks like Steven says you guys need to check out the official bottling cast strength versions of Ledaig. Yeah, I think you're right, Steven, because I tell you what, if they're anything like the quality we've had tonight, man, it's like how could you go wrong with a cast strength version of either one of these types of whiskeys? If it's just straight up ex-bourbon or if it's sherry influence, they obviously know how to do both very well.
Dude, yeah. I just, it's hard to find a flaw in this. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's so many 18-year-old whiskeys, especially after you've had a lot, that you could kind of point at and be like, well, you know, this is underwhelming. After you have something like this, especially if you're into peat, like, it's a different dynamic. I mean, I would rival this. And again, you know, say what you want. Some of the Lafroig 25s have sherry. I would rival this against any of those. And I would almost
because the Lafroigs typically lose a bit of their peat over time.
definitely, and they're more tropical. Like the Lafroig 25 I have, it's a 2016. It's much more tropical. But I've had some that are much more like sherry forward, sherry influence. And I'm telling you right now, like I think if you went blind on this, I don't see why you wouldn't choose this over that. And we're talking about a whiskey that's $300 more, and that much higher in years age. This is fantastic.
The only thing that you might be able to get out of a whiskey like that's more aged, like Lafroig, that you can't get out of this one. This is not a bad thing per se. It's kind of just a style. This one, since it is very assertive in the flavors and the complexity, you don't, for an 18-year-old, to me, you don't detect a lot of refinement that you would off of their Tobermory series. And this is the reason why I really am excited to get that 21 for both of us, because
Yeah.
when you taste their basic make and you taste it at a high enough age level, you're going to be like, wow, damn, now that's a refined whiskey. You could taste the just the age in it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard
agree.
to believe, but you know what I mean, right?
I think the closest thing that I can compare this to this is like a Bunnahabhain 18, but you had way more peat in it. Like it's that level of quality.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a Buna 18, but like, oh, there's way more like assertive peat smoke. I don't think I've had anything off Isla that's heavily peated that compares to this. I mean, Loch Gorm. This is like if Loch Gorm, like Loch Gorm is like a younger version of this. I think like an 18-year-old Loch Gorm would probably rival this. But until we see that, I'm sorry, man. This is stellar fucking whiskey.
What is that actual bottle of Ledaig? Yes, this one is the 18 that we just had, and we also started with the 10, both supplied by Eric Malt Muser here, and I really appreciate it. If you see behind Eric, he's got that Ledaig 10. It's the black bottle sitting there. This is the 18, and it's really similar. He's got that the same bottle, and the wood looks like this. If you're looking for just the case that bottle comes in,
yeah, that's right.
It's $150 for the 18 usually, and a great price. For the 10, it ranges from, it sounds like 50 to 55 up to about 70, 75 on the high end. Hopefully you're lucky enough to find it in the 50 to 60 because that's a much better price. But I can see them charging 70 for it because
there's only one whiskey I can follow this up with, and that's Oogie. And this is going to be fun because I feel like Oogie is, it was one of those transformative whiskeys for me. I think like it'll be fun to try this after the Ledaig 18, mostly because profile wise, they have some similarity despite this not being an age statement, but much higher ABV.
I'm going to pour a little something on the side that's a little different. I'm not doing it to do a comparison, but I like what Malt's doing just to see what he thinks. I want to go just off the wall. I had this heel for a while, and I've been kind of just putting it off. And it's kind of an off-the-wall distillery you might have heard of called Scapa.
Oh, yeah, Scapa, yeah.
This is the Glasna. This is the peated version. It's a batch one. This is from 2016. It's only 40% though, so it's a very, very low ABV whiskey, which is kind of, makes me kind of go, but I've enjoyed it. It's not a bad bottle if you can get it at a decent price, but I definitely would much rather be at 46% like we've been enjoying tonight. But I thought I'll just probably finish this off because I've been sitting on it for a while. This is American oak, fruity single malt. It's definitely got some peat, heather, honey, smoky finish type thing, but nothing to go crazy about. I have heard of these guys having a 16-year-old at one point. I never got a chance to try it. I heard it was okay, but then after they sold out of the 16, they just went to the Skyrim, which is their basic NAS, this Glasna, which is a peated NAS. And they have a couple, I think, just off-the-wall bottles, but they don't even have an age-stated whiskey right now, which is really sad. So I'm wondering if anyone's had the Scapa 16, and what did you think of it? Steven said it was the first good Scotch that he ever actually had.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can't speak to Scapa. I've not had any Scapa, but
it's not a bad distillery by any means, but it's the 40% that really irks me. But I'm hoping that I can get my hands on a 16 bottle at some point just to, add to the old collection and give it a try.
Yo, brother, when's the last time you had a Ugadal?
It's been a little bit. I was lucky enough to find a very old version, a 2008 bottling of it, and I did compare it to a 2018 bottle. And let's just say that there was a bit of a difference there, but it's not enough to make me like shun the new bottlings. It's just a little bit of a difference, but it's almost like talking about a 4.5 versus a 4.25 kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just got a fresh bottle yesterday, gifted to me by some of the volunteers I work with, and
nice.
I hadn't had it in probably about 2 years. And let me tell you, man, it's still just so fucking perfect.
Yeah,
Like
it's hard to beat.
it doesn't have like I had one 3 years ago, and I will admit, like there was 3 years ago it had a little bit more uh, depth to it, but this is still nothing to sneeze at. It's so good, and I think it's one of the I mean this is close to maybe rivaling that Ledaig, but I don't think it's quite there.
Wow. So you still pick the Ledaig 18 above the Ugadal?
Where?
Maybe. Let it simmer. Let it
Oh man, I don't know. Ukadal is so good, man. I don't know. God damn.
Hey, Broda, good to see you, man. It's been a while. Sorry, I just didn't know he was popped in there. That's pretty cool.
Oh man, the Oogie.
Yeah, Ugadal's got really a hard one to beat. It's
good.
But that Ledaig 18, man. I mean, I think it has to be only because of the complexity.
Agreed.
And the power in the Ugadal is higher, though. Isn't that like a 50-something%?
Yeah, it is. Let me take a look. It's like 54.2, I think.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that they don't hold back? I love the fact they don't hold back on that bottling.
Yeah. And it's been consistent through the entire aging. Like, man, it's so good.
This one's got a decent nose. The first thing I got was like dried.
Still saying when you rave about whiskey and think Oogie is better. I mean, like, what? Of course. When's the last time you had a bottle of Oogie?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm sure for Dustin even probably, but I don't know. He probably has about 4 or 5 bottles on hand at all times, knowing him.
I bet he does. I mean, like, go with what's real, brother. Subjectivity is key. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. This one's got an interesting nose. It's got like a dry banana. It was the first note that come to mind when I was doing a drive-by whiff of it, and a little bit of the peat and the heather. It's kind of like an ultra light version of like a Highland Park 12, if you think
Daniel
of it.
Yeah, Daniel just mentioned great top of bottles this year. My Oloroso Kilkerran is regretting your pick. Oh, I missed that. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Oh, they're talking about the Lochgorn.
The Mark Broda is part of the Scotch for Dummies group, and I think they just did each dummy has been doing like their top 5 whiskeys for the year. And for Mark, I remember watching recently, and it was a good video. Check it out if you haven't already.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
His top pick of the year was the Kilkerran 8 cast strength Oloroso finished one.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't.
Channel. I must have missed that video. I've been gone for a while, so I haven't caught up with a lot of stuff. But I'll check it out.
Sadly, the one I had was the first of the cast strength 8s, and it was a bourbon cask. It wasn't the Oloroso sherried, and I heard that's the one to get if you get one. But I haven't tried that one, but I bet it is incredible. Like you said, Mark, I'll have to try that one out if I can find. I've heard that it was just released here in America recently, so it should be easier to find now that they stopped selling it over in Europe and it's making its way over here. And he's saying I do have to get a bottle, so I'll have to check that out and just see. Maybe see on the side. I'll tell you what, the one letdown that Kilkerran did recently was that heavily peated was okay. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be.
You talking about the batch 1?
Yeah,
it was solid. I've heard the batch 2 is better, but I've not got it. And there's apparently the batch 3 is out already. So
the 3 is the 3 supposed to be the best or the 2? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I mean I don't know. Yeah,
that's one of those tough ones, and until they get the batch right, I think they're still kind of trying to figure out where they should go in the finished deal, and then maybe do aged versions of it. But it's not bad. It's just it's something about the combination of the peat and the barley that they're using. Something's just a little off for me on that one. I'm not sure what it is, but I had it recently again in a blind tasting, and all of us were kind of like, There's something up with that, and it didn't stick out as much until it was revealed what it was, and I went back and thought about when we had it the first time. It's like, yeah, something's up with that one, but it was okay. It was decent. It wasn't like a bad whiskey or anything like that.
Yeah. Man, I gotta tell you, like, I still love Uki. This, like I said, this is the first Uki I've probably opened in 2 years, but god damn, man, I don't know. After that Ledaig 10 year or the Ledaig 18, it's like it's still fantastic, but the dynamic nature of this Ledaig 18 is just undeniable.
Yeah, it's the power and the combination of the great casks they use, not just the sherry, but the bourbon casks they use are like you said. I would not be surprised if they have a shitload of first fill stuff going around.
Yeah, I mean, especially on that 10. I mean, God, it was the caramel nature of that was so heavy.
I'm surprised. It's too bad they don't have an offering in the middle, like a 15, like a solid 15, and it could still be straight up bourbon, and I'm sure it'd be
different like Springbank does, just look at 12 cast strength.
Yeah, I know Steven was talking about. He thought we should check out their cast strength ones. Do they have any aged cast strength stuff, Steven, or is it all like just NAS? I'm sure they have to have some aged cast strength stuff at some point. Hopefully, by the time they get to around 21, would be preferable. But I'll have to do some homework and do some digging and try to find one on the side.
So what we got coming up for the rest of the year, Telex? Maybe you can let folks know here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you maybe a couple things. We definitely have the Benromic show is going to be great. We're going to do that organic in the 15.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great show in the Enoch 12 and the 18. That's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Go back to some Ardbeg fun and try a little limited release black versus committee release black versus the regular 10.
Yep.
We're going to do some really cool Lefroy craziness, 18 white bottle versus a green bottle.
Yeah.
And a 25-year-old Lefroy. That's going to be insane.
There it is. It's waiting. It's waiting.
And we got a lot of stuff coming. I do need to get with you, and I know we talked about my next order is going to be the Balvenie 21 Portwood. It's going to be the Glenfiddich 21 rum cask and the Glenmorangie 18 possibly. I wish they had a 21, but you know how that goes. And I might try to find something on the side for the next batch too. I'll have to sit down with you and go over something.
Yeah, we'll connect about that for sure. But we have, basically, like, I don't know what we may have a day off for Christmas schedule. I know that we've been a little on and off for the last month, but
it's the holidays.
We're gonna roll into the next year with consistent tastings. We may have one more day off, but that's it. And so folks can definitely plan on hanging out, and we'll be testing some new whiskeys every week. So it'll be fun. I have a Glen Grant 18 on the way. So we may do a Glen Grant in the next couple of months. We got a nice full schedule, actually, when I look at it. We're going to do that Ballblair. I got this Ballblair single cask 13-year. We're going to be doing that.
Yeah, I've been trying to find they have a new 18 that I've got my eyes on. The problem is that Ballblair wants to sell, and I'm talking about Thai Bev, they want to get rid of all the old vintage statements before they sell the new stuff in America. So I've got my eyes on a new 18 to try with you guys, but I don't want to pay the crazy fees to get it from the UK right now because I could, but they want to extra 50, 60 bucks just to get it over here. I'm just going to wait. Yes.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun tastings coming up, man. This is going to be good.
Yeah, I already did a really great review of the Aaron 21. Dustin, check it out if you haven't already. That was one that I gave a great score. I know at least a 4.25 to 4.5 out of 5, maybe even higher than that. I liked it a lot more than the Benriach 21, by the way, and we took a look at that one as well. So if you're looking for reviews to check out, definitely check us out for the for that. Oh, they got a new. Hold on one second. It looks like Steven said they got a new Madeira 21 Ledaig, newest one in
Oh
Sweet
my
Pea.
God, really? Damn, Steven.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
Oh boy, we might have to do Ledaig review part two.
Part
Like,
two. Well,
the next Fiddler.
I am going to get that Tobermory 21 for us, and I know you're going to try to find a Tobermory on the side if you can find one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe worst case scenario, if we can't, maybe we'll tie these two together and try to do a show on those two. And sample is not bottle. You said bottle, man. That would be something else. I think we had the 21 Ledaig Mezzanilla. I knew they had a Mezzanilla. I thought it was a 19, but they might have had a 21 too. I didn't know they were releasing 21, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes out on a 21 of those guys too, it sounds like. But we'll have to see. There's so many to collect. It's like I've been meaning to get my hands on some of these other ones that are a little more off the wall, but some of the prices they want for these guys, like the Fettered Cairns and the just the distilleries that you know that could be good, it could be horrible. It's almost like, do I really want to take a chance on a bottle that's a Tenenic 17 is like $300, but I've heard horror stories, and Dustin will be the first one to tell you that if you get a Tenenic 17, you're probably asking for it. But some of us have to,
we have a lot of good stuff lined up, and it's going to be a really good time because shit, man. I mean, we'll connect about the next sample swaps we got to do. If folks don't realize, Telex and I are not that far from each other. I'm in Philadelphia. He's in Severna Park, Maryland. So, I mean, we're just right up the eye from each other. And we'll be definitely doing some whiskey swaps. With that, brother, I'm going to wind things down on my end. But this has been awesome as usual. Great to be back on our Tuesday schedule after a little holiday and whatnot hiatus. But super appreciate y'all. If you haven't yet, take a second, hit like on this video. We totally appreciate you guys' support. We have a really good time tasting whiskey, talking whiskey with everybody. I hope everybody had a blessed Thanksgiving. And until next week, man, I'm sure we'll talk before then. But for everybody else, I got a review of the brand new first of the Glenmorangie private small batch selection 12-year-old Malaga cask, which will drop on Friday. So take a second, hit sub on my channel if you haven't yet. And Telex and I will be getting into that at some point too. So until then, my friend, I bid you very well. And we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, let me know. Send me a text when you got some time to sit down. We'll just go over the show list and make sure. The reason why I want to go over it is just to make sure that I bring all the stuff that I'm supposed to bring to you.
No, I know it's been confusing. I've been gone for 5 weeks, so we got to get everything back on schedule. But yeah, definitely we'll do that.
And we're going to be doing another sample swap in the park. I'm going to go up with my radio and talk to the world. And it was when I was at that park, when we met, I was able to talk to Finland from there, of all places. I was like, wow, that's not easy to get Finland. And this is before we had all these great sunspots we've got right now. Radio propagation has been really good. So I'm looking forward to getting out.
I need to learn about this, and I'm very interested in it. So it'll be cool. Yeah.
We'll have to.
We'll have a connect, man, for sure. And, be well, everybody. Wear a mask. Don't fuck around. It's holiday season. Protect yourself. Protect everybody else. Much love to everybody. And I'm going to sign off with that.
All right. See you later, man.
Take good care. Be well.
Well, yeah, we'll have to meet up and try to do like a little park swap. Thankfully, I get out to the radio, to the parks and do radio, and I talk to people all over the world with my little radio and the little antenna. It's amazing how well it works. And while I'm there, I'll just get him to meet up with me, and we'll do some good trades on the side. And I'm looking forward to taking a look at that. We're going to do a Glengoyne 21, a Glencadam 21, a Glenlivet 21, a Balvenie 21, a Glenfiddich 21, a Tobermory 21, and a Glenmorangie 18 so far at this point. And I got my eyes on, we're going to have an Octotion 21 as well. Going to throw in some other ones here in the future. trying to mix it up with the distilleries and keep it interesting with the deal. Dustin, you're horrible, man. the But yeah, if you don't mind, Dustin, if you do have enough for a sample of that Tinnick 17, and you don't mind, I know maybe it's opened up last year of you hiding it. I'm definitely up for it if you don't mind. I don't want to take the last part of your bottle, but if you have enough to get something going where I could give it a little try, that would be awesome. Because I was not a big fan at all of the 10. The 10 was like a bit, but I'd be willing to try it. Next week, Andrew, we are going to be looking at, unless something changes, because I know we're going to do the Akantoshan, and I think he wanted to wait on that because he was in the middle of the move. Unless something changes, I think we'll be looking at the Benromic Organic and the Benromic 15 next week. But I will definitely give you guys a heads up if, oh, you got 90% of the bottle. Okay, it must have been really good. That's horrible. Oh, what am I getting myself in for? Well, just put it on the side, Dustin, if you don't mind. Maybe pour it in a sample, but don't ship it or anything. Let's talk on the side, Dustin, and maybe we can work out at least a little bit of a trade where it make at least 4 or something where it's worth your while, not just to ship, one thing of salsa. We'll have to try to make it, 3 or 4 at least, maybe to make it worth a go. But it's up to you. I don't mind throwing in some stuff on the side too if I can find something that you don't have, which I probably can find something, I'm sure, that you might be interested in. We'll see, because I know you do get to try a lot of different stuff, so that's going to be probably iffy. But I mean, you got 2 Longbow 21, so that says enough right there for it to be, wow. So are you still around, bro? If you are, what you been up to, man? It's been a long time. I'm glad you got to stop by, and I'm glad I got caught your end of the year scotches. You had some really good picks. That Balvenie 15 single barrel mountain, that one's tight. I think that was on your list. I saw Drew's list not too long ago too, so I might be getting them mixed up. But I'm pretty sure that that was on there. Well, I needed the 2019 and 2020 to compare. Of the you've got for the long rows. I was gonna say, I'm hoping you didn't buy 2 of those Tinnick 17s and just 1 of those, because that would be rough, man, if you sold out for that. 2 coins for 150 each locally. Wow. Yeah, that's on the thinner side, but I do have that on the game plan later. Sweet and fruity though is, if you're in the mood for it, it's probably not bad. I'll definitely give you my my little opinion, but I'm probably going to agree with you, Steven, because I don't like the real ultra thin stuff. Just finished a Benromic 10 and heated, and I'm currently interested in checking out the 15 or organic. Yeah, we'll be taking a look at both of those. I have not had either. I have had the Benromic Peat Smoke 2006, I think it was called. I had the Imperial Proof 10, which is one of my favorite all-time whiskeys. That's a 10-year-old, and excuse me, and I'm trying to think of. I've had another one too. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but I haven't had a Benromic that I haven't liked yet. So I'm eager to try both the organic and the 15, and hopefully get a more aged version than the 15 and official bottling somehow. I'm not sure if it exists, but we'll have to see. 43%, yeah, that's where it's tough on that one. Oh, Drew's was the Kilkerran 8, Oloroso was number 1. Gotcha. I mixed that one up because I saw them both one after another on that. Glengoyne 21, honestly, what Macallan 18 should be at half the price. Wow. Seriously, Dustin? That's saying something. Thankfully, I have enough of the Macallan 18 left to do a little side-by-side, hopefully, and see. I didn't know the Glengoyne 21 was that kind of profile of sherry. I thought it was going to be more on the sweet, fruitier side than the sulfuric kind of in your face Oloroso thick sherry, because that's what I get from the 18. It's a little, it's kind of, I don't know. I have to come back and see. I'm not a huge fan of the Macallan 18, but I like it. I mean, I definitely would rather have for the price a Glendronach 18 or 21 Parliament or something. But I'm gonna have to try to do a side by side on that one. Here. Ooh, 11-year cast strength, but haven't opened it yet. That sounds good. When was it from? I just got it, but I think it was 2019. If I had to take a guess, I'll have to do another look. Well, we haven't done that show yet, and that'll be probably at this point around January 19th. We might, move things around a bit, as you guys know, but I'll definitely give you guys more details when we get closer to that. Well, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been fun as always, and do have to work tomorrow, unfortunately, so can't go, do too much partying tonight. But it's been fun as always. Get ready for a disappointment with that neck. I mean, I've had a little bit of it, and I'm not I mean, it's the disappointing thing to me is the price for the amount of money you're paying for it. It's a black box 18. Yeah, I think it's a black box. It's definitely a sherry deal. Yeah, you don't want those purple box or hard pass. Okay. Well, I'll have to take another look at. I know they had another version of the 18, but I wanted the more the more deeper sherry one, but I don't know. We'll definitely get more into it when it gets a little closer to the time. But yeah, I'm not going to go into the review just yet, but that price is murder. It's murder for what you get comparatively to what you can get out of a really good Glendronach, or even hell, even a sherry out of this Ledaig 18 was really damn good comparatively. And you get peat with this one, so we'll I can't even say I will reiterate that this is the one to get if you're looking for a really high quality official bottling from a distillery, and you want to try peat outside of Islay, and that's the way to go. Oh, okay. They're all 100% sherry. The quality has just gone down the day that since the 1993 distillate. Yeah, I'm sure you got to pay for that 1993 distillate previously is the problem, because this bottle alone was 320. So, going much above that, unless it's, really damn good, like Black Arts, 4.1 kind of good. I don't know, man. We'll cross that bridge here shortly. Thanks so much, guys, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And we'll be definitely here next week. I believe we'll be doing the Glenromic Original and 15. If not, we might tackle the Auchentoshan American Oak in the 21. But we also have the Enoch 12 and the Enoch 18 to do at some point. So it's going to be one of those shows. And hopefully you guys have a bottle or two to hang around with us and try, and let us know what you think too. If you didn't have a chance to try it during the live stream, please come back and comment on the feed after the fact. I definitely like reading comments even a year later after it's all gone. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Do the same for Malt's channel. Same for Mark Broda, Scotch for Dummies, Scotch Test Dummies. Any of the guys that shell out money to do this. It's not cheap, and it's not easy to do everything that these guys do. So thanks, guys. Sláinte mhath for now.